Good evening and welcome everybody to the Gilbert City Council meeting of July 8th, 2025. It's now 6:03 p.m. All the meeting to order. And I'll have Mike call roll call.
Councilor Bertocci, present. Councilor DeHorn. Here. Mayor Overstone.
Here.
Councilor Skirvin.
Here.
Councilor Conchi. Here.
We have a quorum, we can have a meeting. Next we'll have, would you all help me with the pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Mike, do we have any additions to the agenda?
I would like to add the garbage RFP to new business. Item D. D? Item D.
Anything else? All right, council, we want to make a motion to approve the petition of RFP for garbage. I will approve the agenda with the petition. Motion by Councilor Skirvin, supported by second. Second by Councilor Botman. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries as added. Alright, consent agenda. City council minutes of 6:24 and working session of 6:24. And register of 7:3:25 to 7:7:25. So all that, we'll give the council, we can make a motion to approve. Any corrections, deletions, or additions? It should be in there.
I'll move to approve. I'll second.
Moved by Councilor Skirvin, supported by Councilor Horn to approve the consent agenda. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously. All right, public input. Anybody in the audience tonight have anything they wish to discuss with the council other than the agenda items? Hearing none or seeing none, we'll move on. Reports by Mayor and Council. Councilor Bertocci.
And nothing more this time.
Councilor Horn.
Just want to say thank you to Ty and your team for keeping 4th of July under control in town. I didn't hear of anything out of the ordinary on social media, so that's always exciting to hear on a holiday. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Botman. Okay, Councilor Skirvin.
I'd like to kind of piggyback on Dylan's. The fire department was kind of all over the place for the 3rd and 4th of July. They helped us with the kitty parade and the kitty games and all that kind of stuff, which was great. I think we had a really good turnout for the games. I'm very pleased with the way that happened. Ty, thanks to you and your team, you were outstanding throughout the whole holiday. Again, I didn't hear any complaints. I know that you all were very busy. Also want to thank the public works team. They got the Main Street cleaned up after everything was done. Moving barricades, posting signs, all of the stuff that needs to happen for the parades, and of course the city hall staff too. We certainly had plenty of phone calls and getting messages to the right people. So really everybody from the city just did a great job.
And the 4th of July.
And 3rd and 4th of July meetings, yeah.
All right, thank you, Councilor Skirvin. I also have thank yous to all those police department, city crew, 3rd of July committee, city staff, firefighters, fire department, and volunteers for the kitty parade, for the whole week of festivities in town. for the 50th, everything went well. Everything went, per protocol with, paperwork and everything else. To ask for a better week, except for a little bit of rain there. Very good. I hope everybody enjoyed the week. And we'll have to do it again next year, I guess. Other than that, we got nothing else, so I hope everybody in Gilbert had fun. All right, city attorney. Hi.
Thank you, Mayor. No formal report.
All right, any questions for the council for city attorney? Okay, please, chief, aye.
Good evening, Mayor Council. Yeah, we had an overall pretty good third and fourth. The rain obviously helped us on the fourth, kind of early end to the street dance. So we only had about 60 some calls for the third and fourth, which is down on about 40 calls. And again, a lot of those are public service, because they're pretty minor. Only major we had about 3 in the morning, we had a EMT get assaulted by get choked out by a individual had mental health crisis. I know there was a report of a shooting on Saturday. That was not a shooting, it was individual took their own life. But there was a gunshot in town, but it was not a shooting, it was traveling around. So and then a couple other, we had two ATV accidents about 5 minutes apart out of Sparta. Fortunately, the second one happened about 500 feet in this Vale Township, actually in Jamal Pit, and the other one was on 97 at Sparta Circle Drive. 2 with serious injuries, and one is going to result in criminal behavior operation, alcohol use. So, and that's about 20% we had as far as major calls.
Again, thank you for all that you did with the police department. I'm very, very busy. And let us know when you need to get some more abatements now.
Yes, I have the activity reports, and you'll see the first 10 or 15 we did, we've actually had a pretty good rate of compliance. So now we're starting the junk stuff. We want to get the grass cleaned up. The other thing we found out was we've got several tax forfeited properties in town. St. Louis County no longer cuts the grass for those properties. So now the city is responsible for cutting these properties, and basically cut it, and we just basically build the property. So whoever buys in the future is going to pay that off. So I don't know if the council wants to kind of talk to Sammy about them 2 to 4 weeks cutting it, just to keep it down, because some of these, but we got several properties. So
How many?
I want to say 7 for sure that we've made complaints on. We've got a couple properties that the neighbors are taking care of, and I don't know, as long as they want to do it, that's great. But I haven't finished 2 more. We're not on the code in the near future. So.
Are you those properties? Are you listed those properties?
Yes, I'll be listed.
The question for Brian related to that, as we bill them and certify their taxes, it's a lot of administrative work on this end. Can we charge them for our administrative work and the mowing and get to the point where we have more of a stake in it, and then what ends up happening, they used to let you buy these things, now they're putting them in a public auction. So either way, the city could either end up with a property or end up getting some of our money back. What are the limitations on that type of thing?
Yeah, I think the answer to the first question is, I think we can create, if we wanted to, build into the rate that we charge for the service, all the administrative. I think what we want to do is create a billing that reflects adequately or accurately the total cost of the city of going out and taking care of this, including the administrative on the back end. Now, can we build up enough of a bill where we could just write it off and take over the property? I'm not sure. The total effect of the litigation that's just passed through related to tax forfeit properties has made a little bit, some of that stuff a little bit unclear, but I'll take a look at it and report back to the city.
Thank you.
And my question on all this is, I don't wanna take our city crew away from their jobs. They go 7 times or 20 times. We have city work to do for people of Gilbert. Can we, and all the legalities of somebody that's really contracted and altered, or hire somebody, some outfit to do that.
Yeah, we can do that if the city so chooses. Yeah, I mean, we can do it if the city doesn't have time to do it. You know, the one thing is like, I think that I think in a city can bill up to $200 an hour to do these abatements, which would be also cutting grass. So I'm not saying that the city isn't making money, but, you know, they might.
Well, we need to get it done, but I want, they got enough work to do here. We got,
Yeah, sure, yeah.
so a couple, that'd be a different story.
Yeah, I can get a list of properties that were the problems initially, and then we can probably find some people to cut it, so.
We need to contract, we need to get it cut, but I'm just saying how we're gonna get it cut.
But the council has to make a determination how often we wanna cut that. You know, we wanna have them cut it once a month, twice a month. You know, usually by August, things are growing very fast, June is usually pretty bad, so.
The properties, that's neighbor, doesn't wanna look at this, so, we gotta take care of it.
Yeah, and the building collapse out on Differing Point, that will be cleaned up in August. They have a contractor lined up to come in and take that building out. Sammy's went out, I had him go out in an emergency. We're billing them, I think, $250 an hour to get that building knocked over. So that will be taken out next month by GM. So.
Where was this?
Right at Differing Point would be like the fourth property in on the south side. Or east side, I should say. That big garage came down. And it came down in the neighbor's box. No. It's, I can't even.
Come on, Ladies old property? Yeah.
That's way past my time. I'll look it up, I'll get you actually.
You live there. I know, that's why I never noticed like a big building.
It was a housing garage. It was a housing garage that came down. It collapsed onto the neighbor's property, and Sammy had to go with the backhoe and push it back over. And then I said, just take the whole building down because it's a safety hazard. They took it down, and we found it's in probate right now. We found the daughter on the cities that's making arrangements with G and that, you know. So, but you can't miss it. It's a big property. It's a big house garage.
I've been listening for 72 years. Anybody's on the
So I just sent it in yesterday. The pictures have been sent in. Now I just have to wait for the administrator to add that in. They actually physically put it in, but at least it's been up. I would imagine by Thursday. Thursday. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe it's up right now.
One last thing, how was our last meeting, what's going on in progress there?
Yeah, so the city crew was busy last week and didn't kind of get down there. I had a conversation with the owner. He's actually hauled about half that stuff out. We're gonna be going in the next couple of days, removing the ATVs that are still there. And then we're gonna address, I can probably tell you a little story about the rocks off the road. It's actually quite the story. So, but yeah, so then we'll work on that property, work on that. So city crew's just getting caught up with putting the barricades stuff away from the floor, and we'll work on that. So, but half of this cleaned up right now.
Okay.
Any of the stuff inside was shed too.
Well, if it's visible, we can address it. If he covers it up, then it's gonna be.
No doors are shed.
I know that. Yeah. So.
All right, moving on to city clerk, administrator, right?
Again, I want to thank the bank, everybody who participated in the process. And I just want to let everybody here know that Carl and I are in a meeting with the IRRB on Friday to discuss funding for the water treatment plant. I've been working with Mike Larson. We have reached out to PFA. They preliminarily have said that we should be able to obtain additional funding from the original 5 million up to the potential ceiling level of 10. So everything's moving forward on that. We're trying to get confirmation from the IRB on what their funding would be. They have made a commitment to us in the past, but we need to follow that through, and we're dealing with Rookavina at the top. So we should have some more definitive information in place for that project. And then as we move down the road with PFA, they're going to require some things from us, but it does appear all things at this point are positive. And we're working on that. So that's all I have.
And once that's all cleared up, then we'll hopefully award a bid soon.
What is the timeline for starting the budget process?
End of August. Yeah. Mid-August, end of August, maybe the second meeting in August would be the time off. So I
I know it's coming out soon.
no, it's coming way faster than you think. So, I appreciate the thought.
All right, any more questions? Old business, nothing? New business? Sure, going. I'm gonna look at just read the room here. Sure, going, building permit? Number 8, no business, correct? I think I was in the just hold on to the building, I mean.
No business at this time, Carl. We discussed this building permit in the planning session. The concerns that we have are staking out the property and the garage properly, because it isn't done yet. And so if we're gonna approve it, we wanna see the stakes in the ground, so we can check them. The building height and pitch of the roof. And then he has 2 lots currently. We'd like him to try to combine those with county recorder, because he's got one house his house is on both lots already. They should be consolidated into one property description and title if they can. And then we had some concerns about the power line. Rudy was out there today. I don't think we have any issues with elevation with that whatsoever. So if someone were to either discuss it,
Put out in there?
Yeah.
Come up to the podium, please. Whatever, dealing with your permit request. Okay. Mike can ask you to say one more time, what the council decided in the last session.
Good evening, Kurt. We discussed this during our planning session. Some of the questions that came out were things that I talked to you about earlier today. And you only have 1 stake in the ground. We'd like to see this.
You got 4.
Okay, well, apparently we didn't see them all. We would like to see your property stakes, where the property lines are at.
Yeah.
So that we can check the setback. And we'd like to see the 4 corners of the garage staked. Those are things that we need to confirm. And then your building height and pitch, which I think will be fine, but we'd like to get confirmation on it. And then, because you have 2 lots there, this is the kind of thing that creates a lot of problems down the road for people. We had another couple who had a similar situation maybe a month ago, and they went to the county recorder and consolidated their lots into 1 lot, and now that you're building additional buildings on there, that's something you might want to consider. We can't force you to do that. It's not expensive to do that, but it would be really prudent to have that taken care of. So we would ask that you consider doing that. Those are the questions that we have related to it. During our discussion, is there anybody who has any additional questions on council?
Are you understand all that, sir?
Yes, so you can see 4 stakes or what they're called.
Well, we need like 100 bids of a lot property.
Yep, then,
So we'll look at that, then once we see all that, then Want to make a determination? Was it, say the height was okay?
Well, I think the building height is 15 feet per code. And you're listing your building at 16 feet.
Want to make sure,
That's-
check on that.
That's, he threw me a number, he needs to check, on. My guess is that it's probably within the normal range, because it's not a 12 pitch or anything. You know what the pitch is for? 412, 512?
No. No.
So,
You say you have stakes in the building, took a picture of your,
Yeah,
did you have stakes today?
no, they've been there for a few weeks.
I only saw one stake in the back.
Yeah, is that a picture of, plastic shed there?
Yep.
There's one,
There's one right there, but in the backside, on the
there's
other
one
line.
by snowplow, which has got to be moved.
Uh-huh.
And there's one there, and the other two over by the other shed, over by the house.
I didn't see it. Maybe it became, I don't know. But I saw the ones by the,
You can see them all from the alley, right down to.
and you're gonna remove those sheds prior to building this. You have a timeline on getting this done?
No, I've been waiting for the building permit, or even,
Are you building this yourself or having a contractor do it?
probably a contractor do it. I wanted to make sure what type of building I could put on the property before I put it in order, and try to put a steel building up. You know, a steel garage, and a pole barn, it's bolted right there. You know, slabs,
So the other piece about the two separate properties, just to be clear, so if you want to keep it as two separate properties, you certainly can, but the building itself needs to have proper setbacks to that property line. If you choose to combine the properties, you won't have that additional requirement. And looking at the size of the drawing, I think you might have some problem with that if you decide to keep it as two separate properties. So that's where our recommendation, you can do whatever you want, but it could affect the size of your building and what we can approve.
I'm just curious, what size the lots are they 30 feet by 120 feet? Come up with 60 feet wide, for both lots, and 120 feet long.
According to the property detail report, you have two lots,
Yeah.
30 by 120 and 30 by 120. So you have 60 feet of frontage and 120 to the back.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And I think its request was if you build a garage 32 feet and you have two different lots, you have to meet the setback on that first lot. So your garage is actually wider than your first lot. So by combining the two lots, then you only have to meet the setback on the set. On the lots.
And the concern being is if you do keep it as separate lots, technically you could sell one lot without the other, and then your building is not in compliance with our codes, and so that would affect your future property owners.
That'd be hard to do, because it's all length, and my house would be, in both lots, and kinda, I don't.
The attached garage is on a separate lot. It's what's called attached garage that you have on a separate lot.
Oh, but it's catch the house, you know?
we're just
I'll get it switched
making
over.
it the easiest way for you to combine them and make it all work, and then, the county recorder can help you go through that process. There's not anybody who's gonna prevent that from happening. It's a simple thing that they can rewrite the legal description and approve it, so.
How about, the property lines, who do I contact to show me where the pins are for,
Surveyor,
yeah, okay,
benchmark, does that?
who does that?
Northern Lights, Benchmark Engineering.
You should get a couple quotes if you decide to have a survey. You might have a pretty good idea where the property lines are, and it's not so tight that it matters, and you're okay. You don't have to get a survey, but if you have questions and you don't know where they're at, or have any clue, a survey will prove that out and allow you to move forward. So,
I just go by what my neighbor told me where, what we go by.
yeah,
So,
Okay, in St. Louis County Explorer, I'll show you the lines and we're gonna do pretty quick.
great.
So is that his little boat in the yard there, or is that yours? I know you got about two,
I'm going about two.
so your other boat is on this, is on the other lot.
Yep, that's my lot, I guess.
Okay, one more thing in this whole puzzle here, council has to be aware of, and also you, sir. There's a past history of being too high. Our owner says 15, as mentioned here. And according to, at that time, those contractors, that should be changed to 16 because it's impossible for them to make this 15 work these days in any construction. So, and I don't think Gilbert has done that, change that ordinance to 15 to 16. And the contractor said 16 should be the number. So we haven't done that, but we should. I take the word from that contractor, he's professional, you know what he's saying. But if you're above 16 or 15, we need a variance for that one foot. Or we change the ordinance, one or the other. But if you're above that, then you need maybe get an ordinance if you're above 16. Maybe not. See, the whole depends on if the birds want to say something about that. So. But we should change that. Either you gotta have a variance for that 1 foot,
Yeah.
16, or what? I don't think we can go past 16 because that's what we got.
You've had it like that for years and years. It either works or it doesn't work. I couldn't tell you because I don't know what fit she's got.
Again, like I say, some contractors say 15 cannot, it's hard to do. I don't know.
I can envision that being difficult.
12, 16 is where that should be at, unless you can give variance for it. So you change that to 16, and you should change it.
Right, but to be clear for the gentleman, so he's not confused, right now, the current code is 15, and that is the highest that we'd be able to accept. So as you're building it, if you can figure out and confirm that, we would need that confirmed before we can prove the permit.
And it's a metal roof, right?
Right.
So it can be a little flat.
Yeah.
All right, anything else? So if you guys get all done and come back, and hopefully within the next 2 weeks or whatever, I don't know if we can be done that earlier or not.
Confirming the height can be done in 24 hours.
So
Or you could make a motion contingent upon meeting the requirements that are currently in place. And if he needs a variance, you'd have to come back. It's up to you guys, what you want to do.
have you got time?
It all depends on how busy the contractors are, you know.
I think we should.
I've been waiting on a building permit before I really went after the building I want, you know, just so we can deal with it.
Yeah, if we make a motion for contingent upon doing these things, you still gotta wait till you do these things to build your thing. Otherwise, it'll come down.
I seen one come down, I seen that floor one come down.
It's an approval, but it's not an approval, okay? It's a contingent upon.
So there's the height thing, I gotta be sure. I'm gonna do that, change it to one lot.
And then the setback from your neighbor's house.
5 feet.
And so that's where you're having the property lines properly staked and the building properly staked.
Ask the council if you want to make a contingent, permit approval based on these items and lay that, specify these things in the motion. Or wait.
I move the table till next meeting, give them time to get this ducks in a row.
Make sure that I talk to contractor possibly and maybe get everything confirmed, that they can do the building at that height and everything else.
Just as a matter of practice, I'm not comfortable with any permits having contingencies of meeting certain requirements, I want to see the requirements met first.
Yep, they either meet them or.
Is that a second?
No,
That would be a second to table, yes.
Motion by Councilor Horn, supported by Councilor Skrillex to table. Urban request of Mr. Dowling until all the things are met. And then we'll revisit that, okay?
Is that that wait 2 weeks again to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. Yeah, sorry, sir.
And Kurt, as you're working through it in the next 10 days, any questions you have, call. You know, if we need to show you how to use the GIS thing or anything like that, stop by City Hall, we'll work with you to get this done. The biggest thing you need to do is ask your contractor to what the roof peak height. So that's pretty straightforward.
Great.
We can get a drawing for you. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We have resolution 2025-11, Mulver donation to the police department, and very nice letter by Sam and Peter Mulver to the council and mayor, explaining what the circumstances were of their $5,000 donation and how the police department played a big role in this money that we're getting here for all the fine work they did for this family. So it's up to us now to thank the police department and accept this $5,000 donation from the Mulver family. Okay, so we want to move down, I'll read this resolution, every resolution.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Dodson, supported by Councilor Horn to approve the donation to the city of Gilbert of $5,000 from the Mulver family. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. City of Gilbert Resolution number 2025-11, resolution accepting donations. Whereas the city of Gilbert is generally authorized to accept donations of real and personal property pursuant to Minnesota statutes, section 465.03 for the benefit of its citizens, and whereas the following persons and entities have offered to contribute the cash amounts set forth below to the city. Donor is the Mulver family, donation to the police department of $5,000. Whereas the city council finds that it is appropriate to accept the donations offered, will therefore be resolved by the city council of City of Gilbert, Minnesota as follows. The donation described above is accepted for the Gilbert Police Department. And two, the city clerk is hereby directed to issue a receipt to the donor acknowledging the city's receipt of the donor's contribution. Adopted by the City Council of the City of Gilbert on July 8, 2025. Thank you, Mulver family. And I know Sam, and I don't know Peter. Thank you very much.
I don't think I'm graduating.
You graduated now?
I graduated again.
Yeah. Well, Sam was a year older than that.
She was the younger brother, and Peter was the oldest brother, taking about 2 blocks from me, which is school together.
Very nice, and that goes to the police department too. All right, next we have First National Bank of Gilbert donation of $100,000. They sent us a nice letter to see, explaining how that came about in some grant form, and we really appreciate that big, large donation. And it doesn't specify how to be used in the letter I read. So very, thank you very much. You took a picture of that one here, right over there, actually. The amount. So first of all, let's accept this, and I'll read that resolution.
I'll move to accept. I'll second.
Moved by Councilor Skrillex, supported by Councilor Horn, to accept a donation of $100,000 from the First National Bank of Gilbert through their grant they received, and they passed it on to us. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. City of Gilbert, resolution number 2025-12, whereas the city of Gilbert is generally authorized to accept donations of real and personal property pursuant to Minnesota statute section 465.03 for the benefit of its citizens, and whereas the following persons and entities have offered to contribute the cash amount set for the below to the city. Donor, First National Bank of Gilbert. Donation to the city of Gilbert, amount of $100,000. Whereas the city council finds that it is appropriate to accept the donation offered, now therefore be resolved by the city council of Gilbert, Minnesota as follows. The donation described above is accepted for the city of Gilbert. The city clerk is hereby directed to issue a receipt to the donor acknowledging the city's receipt of the donor's contribution. Adopted by the city council of the city of Gilbert on July 8, 2025. Thank you very much. All right, we have number D, addition, RFP, new garbage. Okay, what's going on with that?
I am looking for a motion to move forward with the 3 changes of checking the city vehicle free, special events charge, and campground being seasonal deal, and I will write that into the RFP. I'm looking for a motion to approve us publicly posting that and soliciting proposals from multiple garbage companies in our area.
And so moved.
One second.
Motion by Councilor Bertocci, supported by Councilor Skirvin to approve the clerk's request to post for a garbage RFP. And all the issues that might be pointed out in that. Any other discussion? All fair say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously. All right, no, nothing miscellaneous, no loose ends. Motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
Moved by Councilor Sturgis,
I'll
followed by
second.
Councilor Horn to adjourn at 6:40. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you, we're adjourned.